Hello, this is Mike Swanson, Wall Street Window. It is my belief that right now, the number one thing you might want to consider investing in when it comes to the markets is not Bitcoin, it's not crypto, but it's silver. Silver stacking makes all the sense in the world to me right now because the day is going to come in which Bitcoin is going to completely crash. And when it does, a lot of that money in the crypto market is going to move into precious metals for safety and because it's going to be going up. Uh, that might sound like a bold thing to be saying this week when Bitcoin has been rallying while the stock market the past couple of days and gold and silver have been rather sleepy. We have seen Bitcoin go above $60,000. We've even seen many of the crypto mining companies that have been dead money for years finally perk up and have some bounces and rallies and attract some excitement. And everyone on YouTube is telling you, oh, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And some are even saying Bitcoin 100,000. It could go to 100,000, but the day is going to come in which it's going to completely crash. And none of the people are preparing for you that eventuality, much less telling you why it's going to happen. And that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to show you why Bitcoin's going to crash. And it's pretty simple. It's in the charts. So here's a chart of Bitcoin and candlestick chart. And you can see how it's had a nice move in the past week. Now, what they're not telling you though, well, what they are telling you is that Bitcoin is going to replace the dollar. Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is just going to revolutionize the whole world. Well, they've been telling you this for 7 years. And Bitcoin has not replaced the dollar. Bitcoin's never going to replace the dollar. And do you know anybody who's using Bitcoin as money? Bitcoin has a flaw with it when it comes to those things. One, it's too volatile. The money is a store of value. Businesses, say you got a business, you make money, you put in your bank, and you got to have some cash reserves that are stable so you can draw on it. Well, Bitcoin's too volatile to be a store of value, and it's too hard to use as money because every single time you use it, you're smashed with a giant transaction fee. So literally, if you try to live off your Bitcoin as money, you'd end up having it eaten away every time you use it because of the transaction fees. It's brutal. But what Bitcoin is and what it works for is an instrument of financial speculation. So when you get your bets on Bitcoin correct, you make money. And when you bet wrong on it and it goes down, you lose money. No different than if you went in a casino and bet on the football games or now basketball games that are going on. It's no different than that. And that's why a lot of people got into Bitcoin in 2020 when they're previously using sports bets on apps, and then the sports had to shut down for a while. Those people shifted into crypto trading, and because it was the perfect thing to use it for. But what this chart shows is something critical to understand, and that is the two lines below it. What they are correlation indicators. They measure how closely Bitcoin is moving with another market. So the first line is measuring the price behavior relationship between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ 100, the triple Qs. It's measuring how when they move up the same amount, when one moves up, the other moves up the same amount. That's a perfect price correlation. If NASDAQ goes down 2% and Bitcoin goes down 2%, perfectly correlated together. Now, what I'm doing is using this indicator to smooth it out on a 200-day basis. And when that indicator is close to 1, it means the closer to 1, the more closely they trade together. If it's -1, it means they trade opposite together. So if there was something that was shorting Bitcoin, it would be -1. When Bitcoin goes up, it goes down, -1, the same amount. And the correlation behavior between Bitcoin and NASDAQ 100 is 0.86. That's extremely close to 1 when you use this type of analysis to compare the behavior of different markets and even stocks to one another. So in other words, Bitcoin moves with the NASDAQ. In fact, the Bitcoin, what it really does is when NASDAQ goes up, Bitcoin goes up more. And when NASDAQ goes down, Bitcoin goes down more. That's really all Bitcoin does. That's it. It's sort of like a call option on the technology sector of the stock market. Now, what you see on the bottom line is measuring Bitcoin's price behavior with that of the US dollar index. And it is at 0.13, -0.13. A zero level means the price relationship doesn't exist. It's completely random. When one goes up, the other might go up or down. It just changes day by day, and it means absolutely nothing. And that's basically where Bitcoin is at, zero, close to zero. So in other words, there's absolutely no price relationship between Bitcoin and how the value of the US dollar is fluctuating on the Forex market. Write that down, because what that means is that in mathematical reality, that there is no price relationship between Bitcoin and the US dollar index. That means when crypto gurus are telling you that Bitcoin's going to replace the US dollar, in the real world of trading, in the real world of math, not just a guru yelling at you and saying something, but real world mathematics, that's science, there's no price relationship. So they're telling you something that has absolutely no basis in the real world. And what I want to do in my videos is tell you what's going on for real, and when trends change in the markets, so we can take advantage of that. Because aligning yourself with reality is how you make money. Buying something because people make wild predictions and it's rallying, and there's a lot of excitement, if you don't have a strategy of when you're going to get out, that leads to mega losses. And that's why over the past couple of years, while Bitcoin has had several tremendous rallies when the stock market has gone up, almost everyone you know that's played it has lost money because they had no concept of reality of what Bitcoin's really doing, causing the price behaviors, and no plan to get out. So just take those things I've said and apply them, and you can figure out a way to actually start to make money in these markets when you're doing your crypto trades and not just lose your butt in them. So one implication of what I've just told you is that when the stock market has its next bear market, and I'm not saying we're in a bear market or starting a bear market tomorrow, but when it does happen, Bitcoin will do what it's done every other time the stock market has pulled back, in such as the last bear market that happened in 2022, Bitcoin will completely crash. So if we look at the S&P 500 right now, it's not actually in a bear market. Markets go through cycles. I call that stage analysis. And I've written about that in my book, Strategic Stock Trading, and type that in on Amazon. You can buy it, but I'll just really quickly tell you, you can identify quickly what stage a market is in by what the price is doing relative to its 150-day and 200-day moving average. When the moving average tends to slope up and act as a price support level in a bull market, and do the opposite in a bear market. The moving average will be above price and price below it. So right now, as I'm speaking, S&P 500 is way above those moving averages, And as it's gone elevated above the moving averages even more, that's when Bitcoin has come alive. That's when people have been saying to themselves, okay, a lot of the stocks are going up a lot already. So I'm going to go buy Bitcoin now because it hasn't started to move as much. And that's what people started to do really at the start of February. So now you can understand what is driving the Bitcoin price speculation. Now, what you have to also know, and why I'm telling you about silver, is that when there's financial stress in the markets, what ends up happening is that people start selling and they look for safe havens to go into. So in the past, money would float into the bond market because treasury bonds aren't typically volatile, and you get interest. That's what's happened until 2022 when the stock market fell and bonds fell at the same time. And I believe when the next bear market comes in the stock market, and I'm not saying it's starting now, look at the chart, but when it does happen, we can easily see bonds go down with stocks again, like they did in 2022, because of the debt situation in the United States. And if that's what happens, silver is going to be critical for people, and so is gold. So, in my view, stacking up silver now makes tremendous sense, and you can actually get a good price when you do so, because silver's been in a trading range in which the 21 to $22 zone has been price support, and we're just like 2270 or 2264 right now. 2264 is the closing price. So we're not far. It's not, you're not chasing something if you stack silver right now. So the day will come in which Bitcoin will crash. I've explained what will cause that crash and why I think now's the time to prepare for it by accumulating silver. Let's say you own Bitcoin. What I'm telling you doesn't necessarily mean you should sell the Bitcoin now. It could easily go up more, especially if the stock market continues to do okay. I don't really believe another bear market will be evident till the end of this year, at least the second half. It may not start the next year. So the markets may continue to rally. Bitcoin may be okay in that situation or go up even more than the market. But if you want to prepare for the future, when the turmoil returns, silver stack, silver stack, silver stack. And you can do that with a portion of your account. 10%. I've got like 15% of my accounts invested in metals ETFs that invest in gold and silver, along with owning physical gold and silver stacking. So those are my thoughts today. Prepare for the future. Don't just trade the markets in the moment they're in, but prepare for the future day in which things do change. And we're in a totally different market environment, because that day will come. And when it does, you want to be prepared for it. You prepare for it now by silver stacking now, not tomorrow.